And let there be sound. Hello, everybody. My name is Kirby Kwan, Jr. from the Six, and you are back for yet another episode of the Ghetto Fabulous Podcast. Joining me once again will be the man that is back from Japan, Shane.
Hey, how's it going?
How is it going? We spent maybe upwards of an hour to figure out Shane's new mic setup that I kind of provided for him, and we're just praying to all forms of God that this thing is working properly for him.
My internet also died.
His internet was also garbage. We're actually shooting this or filming this or recording this more so nearly at 1 a.m. in the morning. My parents are asleep, and I got to pray to God that they don't wake up in the middle of the night to take a fat shit and moan and scream in the washroom because of the pain of tearing up their assholes.
That got really, really real.
It got really shitty. That's some real shit. Anyways, considering that you have been in Japan conducting research for so long, it got me thinking, and this is going to be the topic for today. We are going to talk about what we learned about ourselves as individuals while in university, or really post-secondary school.
Ooh.
But before we talk about that, I would like to ask, let's actually play some catch-up, because, it's been a month since any activity has been active on this channel, so obviously, that means that you didn't know what the fuck happened to me, and nobody knows about what the fuck happened to Shane. So Shane, let's talk about what you've been up to since you returned back to Toronto.
To be honest, job hunting, slowly reintegrating myself back into Toronto life, getting used to the transit system here and everything like that, because it's shit compared to Tokyo's. Yeah, exactly. Going back to school a little bit, because I'm trying to find work there for maybe the first 3 months before I find a full-time job. But it's just basically kind of reintegrating myself slowly, yeah, really, that's pretty much it. Reconnecting with old friends and stuff like that too. So
right. What was sort of the biggest culture shock aside from subways and transit from Japan coming back to Toronto?
I can understand all the signs and what people are trying to say to me. No, legit, you don't realize how much that kind of weighs on you until you finally come back to an English speaking country and you look at a sign, it's just oh shit, I could read it. That makes sense. It makes sense.
It's no longer color based for you now, huh?
It's no longer color based, and it's no longer I'm looking for a drawing of what it should be. What? Oh god. Well, is this the train? Is this the subway? I can't tell.
They're both long rectangles with wheels.
Oh man, Tokyo's got a few different subway system symbols as the thing. So
we have 2 subway systems in Toronto. Did you know that?
I mean, TTC, Go...
No, just in the TTC alone, we actually had 2 different subway systems. Did you know about that?
What are you talking about?
We have the one that's on time. I lied. That one doesn't exist.
It's too late for an April Fool's joke. Or is it too early?
I don't know. Well, the only April Fool's joke that would exist is TTC got me to my destination early.
You know what? It's fucked up because within the past, month or so, alright, that I've been back, alright, I've had delays literally every time that I got onto the train. And there would even be times when no train would show up, or what my favorite is, right, a train would slowly pass by me that says out of service.
Those are the worst.
I swear to God, I have a story about one of those, which is the biggest fucking joke you'll ever hear about for the TTC.
And don't worry, we're going to dedicate a full episode to public transit eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's actually get into what you have learned about yourself in post-secondary. But before that, we do need to talk about the fact that you actually didn't go to a secondary school in Toronto, right? The fuck is How was your day today? Yeah. The only appropriate time we should use that in an answer is, what does your engine sound?
Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never went to a Canadian post-secondary necessarily. I went to Maple Leaf International School, which is a Canadian international school in Trinidad and Tobago. Because how the education system works is that Canadian universities are more likely to accept you if you came from a Canadian institution. And Maple Leaf, it's in the fucking name. It works.
I still think it's because we very, very briefly brushed over this in our very first podcast. I still think it sounds like a brand for, or
maple syrup.
Yeah, sounds like the sweatshop for maple syrup.
Sweatshop, maybe.
I meant to say factory. I don't know why my Asian mind went there and said fucking sweatshop.
Oh god.
Because I didn't take in that I said sweatshop until you repeated it. I'm like, what do you mean sweatshop? Oh wait, I said that.
Yes.
I was like earlier when I was like, yeah, so press the button next to stop on the right side. Fam, that's your left.
Oh god, we should record like the full like video sometime.
I mean, if you fuck up next time, I'm letting you know right now. I'm gonna turn on OBS and we're gonna fucking screen cap that shit.
Oh god, do we have to though?
No, but I just might do so for friends and family. Just kidding.
Friends and family. Anyways, but yeah, so went to Maple Leaf International School,
right.
And that's where I got my Canadian level education, or at least my first taste of it.
Was it sweet?
And
like maple syrup?
I'll be honest, no, it was actually a lot more like bitter than anything else.
That sounds like the Canadian education system as far as we know.
I don't know. For
Just
me,
kidding.
it was like a weird difference because of that entire time before that, I was going to the usual Trinidadian education system, which is public school.
And what was that like?
Public-private school, or is what they like to call it sometimes.
Wait, hold on. What the fuck is public-private school?
So it's a public school, anyone can really apply, right? But I believe that it is privately funded or something like that.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it was something. Yeah. Because I thought you were trolling me. I'm like, that's like saying I'm gonna put on my left-right shoe.
Kind of, like, no. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's just really weird. But Maple Leaf International School works more like a straight up like private school, because you need the fucking money to get in.
Okay.
Anyways, and the thing is, like, it was the first taste of like what a Western style education was like, and it was fucking weird. I thought.
Yeah.
What?
No, sorry. Continue. My bad.
I was gonna say, like, I thought that, when you are just, like, watching, like, Disney Channel, like, those kind of, like, teen dramas or whatever the fuck, those sitcoms or whatever the shit.
I would if I had cable television.
Okay. Okay. Well. Okay.
I did see them at my cousin's place where they had cable TV, so
all right,
I could kind of relate.
Kind of. It's basically like that, because the thing is, all right, it was so stereotypical in some of the people that I saw. Like, you had, like, the, like, pretty white kids, all right? You had, like, the stuck-up, like, cheerleader girls. We had, like, a group of popular kids, all right? Especially the girls. We had a bunch of, like, douchey guys, bullies, all that kind of shit, right? Which was weird, because back in my public-private school
Yeah, I was about
days,
to say, your public-private school.
Yeah, we didn't have shit like that. No, like, for us, all right, it was just like everyone was just kind of an asshole at all times, no matter what. There was never really a time, all right, I'll be honest, when I was in like my public-private school, right, where people weren't kind of like jerks.
I misheard you because of the pause. You're like, where I was in public fucking. I was like, I would hope there was no recollection of you in the public fucking.
Jeez, no.
From SkinnyJeanShane to no jeans Shane.
Wow. Well done.
Hey, be glad I didn't say skinny dick Shane.
Wow. Now that's fucked up.
I suppose I said it anyways.
Yes. Anyways, you do this with all your hosts?
I do this with what?
You do this with all your hosts?
Oh, right, yeah. Shane has been integrated as host status now. He's still not getting paid for this because I'm not getting paid for this either. Hashtag Broke Boy Foundation, fund that.
Fair. But yeah, and like after that first taste of like, you know, Canadian level education, right? It was just fucking weird. Like, I didn't know if I liked it or not. I knew that like it was very different, and I didn't necessarily like it. But I didn't have anything else to do at that point, and I kind of told myself it was like a one of those points in my life when I was like, okay, like Shane, you really have to like do fucking schoolwork.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the whole time, right, I was like, I really don't want to be here. I don't want to do school. I just don't give a fuck, right?
Okay.
Oh man, it was a miserable time around life. But anyways, after getting through, you know, that bullshit, right, and then dealing with like actual like Canadian university, all right, and like that was really fucking weird, because in Maple Leaf International School, yeah, there was a little bit of culture shock because, you know, all the kids are white and they all speak English properly,
like with the North American accent.
Yes, with like a North American accent, unlike the ones that I've been like living with up till that point. What, sorry?
I always wanted to ask, because you know Americans paint Canadians with this weird thing about our accents and shit, where it's like, oh, they don't say about, they say like a boot or some shit. Since you do have
the most hoodlum accent, they say a boot, yo.
So in your unbiased third person perspective opinion, do you notice like any quote unquote Canadian accents since your tenure here in Canada?
I have literally never heard the stereotypical Canadian accents yet. I haven't heard, like, you know, the one where people are, oh yeah, eh? Like that.
Yeah, eh? That shit. That?
No. You're like, oh yeah, eh? That one. Like a Newfie accent.
Oh, yeah, I never heard of that either.
I haven't heard that once the whole time I was here. The most I've heard, right, is an American accent and then like a just regular English accent, and that's it, right?
What is regular English accent?
Regular English accent, right, is what I'm talking right now. Just English.
Is that not
as far
an
as
American
I can tell.
accent as well, as far as I can tell?
I mean, if you think it's American, I personally don't, but sure.
Because when I think of American accent, I think of two things. I think of this, which is basically what I generally speak with on a podcast, or I think of America. You wait, I'm gonna take my horse to the old town.
Howdy do, partner.
Oh god, we're doing this again. Every fucking time.
But yeah,
I don't know if I like it or not that this is becoming a thing.
I don't, but anyways.
You do it the most, though. Anyways, yeah, so...
Shut the fuck up.
So, yeah, I guess... So I guess, like, prior to... So you just integrated yourself in university. So what was some of the biggest culture shocks that you felt and that you finally made it to Canada proper?
The biggest culture shock was... this will sound fucked up, but it was seeing all the Chinese people, or at least all the Asian people. And
dude,
hear me out on this, right? It's only fucked up to me because living in Trinidad, alright, like the majority of the population is either African, or West Indian, or straight up Indian, or Muslim. Chinese people are a minority, as well as white people, as well as like any Asian people, because there's also Korean people there for some reason.
Maybe they misheard Caribbean and Korean and thought, oh yeah, we used to go back to the homelands, and then they go over there and they're like, yeah, so why is it this? 이거 뭐야? 왜?
I think I actually understood that.
뭐라고?
Oh man. There you go. But yeah, it's like you literally never see another like Asian person unless like you're, I guess this is gonna sound fucked up as well, in the supermarkets, because they're the ones usually running them, or you're going to be like, you know, in the Chinese restaurants, you know, that kind of thing. Like, you know, sometimes you'll see them on the streets, sometimes you'll just see them kind of like chilling out in the malls and stuff like that. But when I was growing up, alright, like even in those public-private schools, it was always me and one other Asian kid out of the entire school, and that's it.
I vaguely remember you telling me about like how you did not want to be associated with like any other Asian kids, and
Nope.
in fear. Well, fear is not the right word, but like Fuck, I'm gonna use fear. In fear that people mistaking y'all for being like brothers, right?
It wasn't even a fear. It was like an actual legit thing that happened a lot of times.
Okay, cool. So I guess that would be like one of the
Cool.
so I guess that's like one of like the immediate things that you immediately that was so redundant.
Yeah.
Learned
And you know
about
what's
yourself
funny?
in Canada, right?
Yeah. And like to add on to this other thing of like, all of a sudden like Asian population, right? It's like all this Asian culture because obviously because
We have
the
Viet restaurants
minority.
too in Canada. I'm joking.
Do you?
Yeah, there's a nice one like near where I live. We should go sometime.
Sure. But what I really meant was like in Trinidad, right? Like the major like form of Chinese culture or anything like that, all right, is what you'd find in your own house.
Dude,
Like how Chinese people like usually have like those little shrines,
Yeah.
dedicated to like ancestors and stuff like that, right? That's the most I ever seen in Trinidad, right?
I thought you were about to say another oxymoron to be like the only major minority that we have. But see, that one still makes sense. I thought if you said like the only the only minor majority that we have, it's like what the fuck is minor majority?
Oh man. But anyways, yeah, like Trinidad was just a place, right, where like not a lot of Chinese people were there, and the Chinese culture wasn't really like that prevalent or anything like that. Like totally understandable. Nothing like that crazy. Wasn't really expecting all too much, which is why it was so weird when I got into Canada, where I thought I'd just see like like white people, but in fact it seems like almost like 60% Asians.
Yo, do you know what's funny about that? So I grew up in Toronto all my life, right? I never moved once, as far as I know. So when I first got into university, the most scariest thing ever was, holy shit, I've never seen so many white people in one area in my life before.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. I don't mean to typecast myself, but I live in the hood, right? And and
you just
and no, but here's the thing. I need people to understand this. Like, I shit you not, from kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade, there was almost like this unspoken rule that every grade is only allowed an absolute maximum of three white kids per grade.
Wow.
So for the longest time, like every grade did have that token white guy by default. Because all my schools was just dominated by black kids, Somalian kids, Caribbean kids, Asian kids, basically major minorities.
Major minorities.
Hey, you can do it, I can do it too. So so when I first went into university, I'm just like, holy shit, those are like legitimate white kids. Because I've seen white adults in the form of like lunch ladies, teaching staff, workers in like different places and shit, and shoppers and shit. But I've never seen a bunch of white students in my life before. I know that sounds weird, but for the longest time, I just thought they were like some kind of myth, like a fucking like
fucking
yeah, like a winged pony. I think unicorns and shit, right?
Yeah. Huh?
So when I got into university, I'm like, holy shit, white children exist.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I guess that was sort of what I was living with as well, but like with like Asian kids or Chinese kids in the Caribbean. Because I'll be honest, like, we just don't exist. And even if we do, we try to avoid each other.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah, and you know what's fucking hilarious as well? The one time that I actually, like, kind of made friends with the other Asian kid, alright, he just stopped talking to me.
Oh, I thought you
were
about to be like,
what?
yeah, we were not allowed to see each other, like fucking Romeo and Juliet, because once we're seen together, people gonna think that we related.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah, I mean, like, that's just the Caribbean, and that's how they are with, like, minorities and, like, Chinese people,
No, I
Anyways.
don't, but sure.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Outside of that, alright, like, everything else in, like, Toronto was immensely more modern and immensely more, I guess, user friendly in a way, because the thing is, right, like, in the Caribbean, there is no real public transit system except for like some chartered buses and then maxi taxis.
There's no proper transit system in Toronto either, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
What I mean is, at least you guys have a train.
Do we?
Trinidad has no trains.
Do we really?
No, like, railways, nothing. Shut up. No railways, nothing like that, really. Like, Trinidad has highways that are almost always congested because everyone in the Caribbean needs to have a car.
That kind of sounds like Toronto,
too. And then there are, like, taxis, right, which are, I assume, run by the government in a way, but not necessarily, right? Drivers sort of, like, make their own pay sometimes. But yeah, it's, like, a weird, fucked up system sometimes.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But back to the topic of like learning shit about yourself in university. Immediately in my first tutorial, and Kevin was there with me because we had the same initial first track for our first years. I realized I never took in that I spoke with an accent.
Oh,
and it's
oh no,
and it's not like an Asian accent. It's like a weird amalgamation of things. So I'll just tell you what happened. So my first tutorial ever, we were split into groups of 3s, and you had to generate notes based on the chapters of the reading, and then present it to the class, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was like 20, let's just say about 21 kids. So there's like 7 groups of 3. I was partnered up with Kevin and this other dude that I forgot his name. But shout out to you, brother. You were cool. His name began with a P and was like 3,000 fucking letters long. So for the sake of ease, we're just going to call him Parker. So
that was not the first thing that came to my mind, but okay.
Penis?
No.
Poo-poo?
No.
Platypus. So me, Kevin, and Perry the platypus. So we generated our notes and shit, made a quick introduction and stuff. Our 5 minutes was up, and then we had to present, right? We went like, I want to say out of the 7, maybe like 3rd or so. And Perry the platypus still had the sheet of paper of notes that we generated, right? So they were like, okay, this group, chapter, let's just say 3. What do you guys got? So I looked at Perry the platypus. He looked at me. I looked at Kevin. Kevin looked back at me. And I'm just like, fuck, I guess instinctively I have to be the one to present our notes. Unfortunately, I didn't realize I had an accent. And rather than just being like a normal human being with proper English like I kind of am now and just say, hey, Perry the platypus, could you please send over the sheet of paper with notes? I fucking said. So this is what you hear. All right, group number 3. Time for you guys. All right, don't know. Hey, man, send a ting. All right, so like, man's in the 1930s were like working. I don't know what the fuck. It's been too long. Some shit about fucking Ford, about like the Model T and shit, fucking whatever the fuck, right? And like basically the whole class stared at me, not because they actually wanted to learn, but because they were like, why does he sound like that?
Ooh.
Some people were like, is this a joke? And then some other dumber people were like, is that what Chinese is? I'm like, no, you dumb fuck, that's not what Chinese is.
Oh, man. And then they're even more heartbroken when they actually learn what Chinese is.
Nah, but
yeah.
But yeah, I didn't realize it had such a thick, like, sort of accent / different dialect. There was only one person outside of Kevin that understood what I was saying, and he kind of acted as a translator for me. Well, not for me, but like for the.
How do you translate that?
No, he just knew what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
Because my tutorial leader certainly didn't know what the fuck was happening. She thought I was just like trolling them.
A joke?
Yeah, and I'm like, no, this is the way I fucking speak, bro. But the weird thing was, I always knew how to sing in, I guess, a similar voice or similar speech pattern as such, where like the accent is more recognizable. But for some reason, that was the way I spoke. I'm like, why are you discriminating? Like, I don't understand that. Anyways, but yeah, I didn't realize how fucking ratchet I was until, university, because I looked around, and this is before bandanas were a trend, and I'm like, so no one else is gonna wear bandanas with wallet chains, just me.
Oh wow, you were that kind of kid, huh?
Fam, literally about 7 months before my first university class, I had dreadlocks.
I fucking knew it.
Of course you knew it, because I fucking told you.
I fucking knew it. Oh wait, no. I thought. Oh,
You said no. You thought I had cornrows,
yeah, which would have been even better.
but with my fat ass head, bruh, I would look like an actual field.
Oh God, please, please. I want it so bad.
No,
Freaking party pooper.
you're not gonna see
All right,
cornrows on
whatever.
my head. Shit. But yeah, that was the first thing I learned about myself at university was that, fuck, I'm ratchet as shit. These fools didn't understand a word I said besides send a ting, dog.
Send a ting. Oh wow, Jesus. Even I don't even say that back in the Caribbean.
I don't think that's a Caribbean thing though. I think that's a Toronto specific thing in certain areas like Brampton, Scarborough, where I'm from, and certain parts of downtown.
Maybe. I mean, back in Trinidad, we spoke more Creole than anything else. No, I can't recite anything for you.
Nice. So let's talk about sort of your second year of university. What did you learn about yourself during your second and third year of university?
Okay. The first thing that really popped into
Aside
my
from
mind,
white
and the
people.
first thing, yeah, okay. The first thing that I learned, alright, was I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Because here's the thing, right? When I took my first major in university, alright, and remember what I said, first major. I took my first major, geographic analysis, because my sisters told me that I should. They were like, oh, during the recession, because it was around 2013, during the recession, right, Toronto had a bunch of city planners, right, and they couldn't fire their city planners because there's so few of them, blah blah blah, whatever. So my original plan was, all right, I'll become a city planner. I don't fucking know, sure, why not, right? And by second year, what I realized was I fucking hate geographic analysis. It's just not interesting to me. It just didn't really. It will sound corny. It didn't feed the soul. I just didn't feel right the entire time that I was doing it.
It felt like you were in the wrong clothes, right?
Exactly.
So you were
yes.
in baggy cargo pants instead of skinny jeans.
Yes.
I had to do that.
Which is funny that you say that, because around then was when I was wearing just baggy jeans and t-shirts.
I fucking knew it. No stereotypes required. I just knew it.
Pretty much. So,
and boat shoes, right?
Boat shoes? No, it's just Nike sneakers.
Okay, I took it too far.
No. And what happened with me was I hated everything about geographic analysis. It just wasn't for me. I thought it was the most boring stuff in the world. The professors were less than ideal, is the best way of saying it, because a lot of them were kind of just lazy. Oh man. And because of that, alright, I just had no passion for the classes, right? They were so just relaxed. They didn't care, they just kind of did their own thing. They would just talk in the classrooms, right? Not really teach, not really, show us anything. They were just and here's what I think about you. It's this old British white guy talking as well. And after his class, alright, I knew, inside, just deep in my heart, fuck this shit. I hate everything about it. I want to leave.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's when I that's when I went more forward with English, because at the time, right, I was majoring in geoanalysis, minoring in English, because I knew that I loved English, right? I knew that I was really, really happy with English. But obviously the first thing that your parents will tell you is the fuck kind of job can you get with that?
I speak English. Your neighbor speaks English. What are you gonna do?
Everyone
Teach
knows
English,
Shane. Oh, God. That's like a legit thing that I've
What
heard
if they
before,
said
and
that in fucked up English? Like, English knows everybody, Shay.
no, they did it even worse. They say it in Chinese.
That is, wow. That,
지금 머리 안識英文嘅.
bruh,
You
for
know.
a second there, your accent was so thick, I thought you were speaking to me in Cambodian or some shit.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
I was like, I don't really
But no.
understand Gambin like that, but okay.
Yeah.
So I speak to me in Tagalog. Putangin mo. And shit. Putangin a job.
Ew. There you go. So yeah, dealt with stuff like that, and I switched over to English like within the next semester of like
So as in,
after the first year, like
Uh-huh.
after the first semester of second year, right? I knew like fuck everything about geoanalysis, right? It is like one of the most miserable times I've ever been, and it's making me hate more and more. It's not good. It's not like, you know, this sucks shit.
Whoa, quick question. Would you like me to bleep out your university's name just in case?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it just sucked the drive out of me. So moved on, went on to English, all right, and English was where, what was it, like second year, like the second semester or so. It was amazing. Like basically enjoyed every class, made my first like really good great friend there. And yeah, basically took off from then on. And what I learned from that was, all right, like that it's okay to start over, that it's like probably even more ideal that you just fully start over.
Right.
Because the thing is, right, like if you hate what you're doing, right, like you hate, let's say, to those people out there who are like stuck in a degree
breathing.
or a job. Sorry?
I hate breathing.
Well, don't do that.
I hate drinking water.
I am almost 100% sure that you don't.
I hate living.
All right, well,
What
now
you
you
gonna
just
do
want to be
with that?
difficult. All right, fine, go die. Oh man. But anyways, what I was saying was, right, what I learned was, right, like it's okay if you hate something, all right, like it's totally fine, all right, to like put your hands in the air and just say like fuck it, I'm done, and then move on. Because you don't have to put up with that shit, man, and like it makes you so bitter and like so toxic with everything around you. Because the thing is, like, I hated my first like year in Toronto because of that.
I feel like that's like a really good lesson to teach to, like,
Yeah.
just people in general. Like, it's almost like, for example, oh, I fed up with this relationship, then end the relationship. I fed up with this recipe, then go eat something else. I fed up with life. Okay, hold on there, buddy. But I fed up with this program. I fed up with this world. You know, like, there are things you could do to make you less fed up and feed yourself with possibility and therefore
Let's eat,
possibilities
huh?
instead. Yeah, then, you know, because here's the thing, man. Like, you just need to find what you like, because there's probably something that likes you too as a human being. And if everybody loved each other, then the world would be a better place to live in. Huh?
I can't believe you got through all of that with like a straight, like, no giggles, nothing.
Well, you know I'm good at doing the no giggles. My face is like fucking twitching like a motherfucker right now. You just don't see it. Like, if my face made a noise for every time I twitch, you would just hear like, you would just hear the fucking, it's like a weed whacker. You just hear you would just hear that right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like,
but yeah.
because even for me, right, like, first and second year was actually in the wrong program. I was supposed to apply to in the Faculty of Fine Arts, specifically in film. That's what I was supposed to do. I accidentally applied to the wrong faculty and as an undecided major. So within this,
Oh fuck.
yeah, and this applies to both me and Kevin. We wanted to get into film, so we tried during our first year to transfer over. They thought that we were not talented enough / just not good storytellers. I think that's the most appropriate way to say it. So then we just shredded through our second year. You know, Kevin took as many writing courses as possible because he wanted to be a screenwriter and still does. And I just kind of, well, there's nothing really production specific for me, so I just kind of took gen ed film studies courses just to keep myself in the same realm, while on my own I would learn about filmmaking and stuff through like free resources out there that you just need to dig a little bit for. And then in between second and third year, both Kevin and I actually transferred into the faculty of film, and he got into screenwriting and I kind of got into production, because this is when I realized my school is kind of incompetent. I was supposed to get an email for an interview that never came.
Oh, fuck.
So, and I searched my whole like email, like everything, right? So I ended up going to marching up to the physical faculty itself and asking what's happening. Like, yeah, well, you were supposed to come for an interview at this time and this date. I'm like, that's great. Where was I didn't get any notification for that. No phone calls, no emails, nothing. And like, oh, but we sent an email out. I'm like, yes, but I didn't, receive it. So then I was eventually interviewed by the, well, I don't know the term, but the head honcho, fuck it, of this faculty, and they were like, we really like your submission, because you also submit like a small little short film, no longer than 5 minutes, to show off your shit, basically. And like, I really do like your portfolio and shit, yada yada yada. After some finessing, I finally managed to get into the production program, and so now it's year 3, and this was a really good year for me, because the prior 2 years I thought was just fodder. Like, I'm here, I'm not doing what I like you said, right? I fed up with this like inactivity, and I got into the proper program that I wanted to be in. So I took all the courses necessary, and then some fucking bullshit happened.
Oh,
now, the funny thing is, everything in both my school life and my personal life was going well up until that bullshit, because I met someone, and eventually we got into a relationship, and everything was cool. And then there was rumors within my school about, our school might be going on strike, bruh. And I was like, damn, now when everything's going so smoothly. And then God was like, yeah, bitch, get ready, cuz.
Oh, no.
And let me tell you this, ain't nobody was ready for that shit.
Yeah.
It came at the worst time too. It came like right shortly after midterm of second semester.
Oh, fuck.
So I was like, you motherfuckers, you can't just let it go and let us finish and then go on your little rant. Shit. So when that happened, around that time was when me and my girlfriend at the time, I guess, we never really had issues necessarily, but we both kind of felt like this is not going nowhere. Do you know what else wasn't going anywhere? The strike.
Oh, no.
Eventually I ended things with I don't like calling them exes, so I'm just gonna say my past girlfriend, and we're still cool and everything. We still tight. But the university thing didn't end yet. So
seriously?
No, the strike was still going on at that time. So me and Kevin.
Oh God.
Well, me specifically, I started going in on like YouTube just to keep my skills kind of sharp. Kevin had nothing to do. And the worst part though was there was this one class that I was destined to fail because the TA ended up quitting.
Fuck? Oh shit.
That's how fucked up the strike was. So I had to fail by default. I'm like, that's not right. It was like that scene from fucking like Empire Strikes Back. I was like Luke Skywalker. I was like, it's not true. It's impossible.
Oh no.
So then the university did have a cleanup job. It was like any courses you failed for a reason like that, you can erase it from your record. No, what's it called? Not called record. What is it called? Your transcript, and we will reimburse you with like the cash to pay for a course with the same amount of credits. I'm like, that's cool. Can you reimburse time? I don't think so.
Oh no.
So walking into this year 4, I didn't want to, but I had to because that reimbursement would expire after year 4 or whatever that year is. So in my 3rd year, what I realized was the thing that I learned about myself and sort of just life is nothing really lasts forever. And don't get too comfortable, because I got too comfortable doing my own shit rather than prepping for a potential return for school.
What do you mean?
Because rather than prepping to come back for school, I was just sort of like learning filmmaking and shit on my own, to the point where when I did return for school, half, if not more, almost all of the shit that they were teaching, I already fucking knew. Now, granted, that's talking about year 4, but basically for year 3, I realized don't get too comfortable doing other things, because what I was doing was I was finally sort of planning to come back to do cosplay. I was planning to do a documentary, and that's sort of still in my mind. I just haven't figured out a way to sort of hop back onto that.
Was this around the time that you and I met, or?
Yes. Well, after we met, I guess. And then, honestly, I was having doubts about school at this time.
Okay.
So should we, like, do you have anything to add on to what you learned in year 3 before we move into year 4, or?
To be honest, year 3 was sort of like the renaissance period for me in my university career, because year 3 was when I knew that, I guess the main lesson takeaway was that it's okay to ask for help.
Right.
Because for the longest while, right, like I was basically all on my own for a lot of my courses, and then like one professor, right, like pointed out, like, if you have any problems, all right, feel free to come by my office hours, all right, we could talk, you're right, and I could show you what you need to do for your essay, right?
Because he show specifically you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid.
Yeah, sort of, because he told me, he looked at one of my essays, right? And he was just like, you chose a really great topic, right? But how you went about, like, structuring the essay and everything like that, right? Like, it was kind of shit. So come to my office hours, all right? Let's talk, all right? And I was just like, you know what? Yeah, I'll do it. So went to his office hours, all right? And he basically tore my essay, all right?
I fucking knew
like,
it.
Piece by piece.
I don't know why. I just, in my mind, I saw this thing where it's like, oh, you walk into your prof's office with like your head hanging low, and your prof is like, hey, yo, Shane, it's okay, I got you. Well, let me switch up the voice. Let me have a brief little skit here. And then your prof goes, Shane, it's okay. Whatever you need, we'll figure it out together. And then you're like, I just don't feel really confident about my essay. And then your professor says, send a tick. No, I'm kidding. Your professor asks you to hand it over. You hand it over, and before he reads it, he says, I'm gonna take a look at this, and by the end of today's session, you're gonna know what to fix. And then you have a brief smile, and you're like, you feel positive. And then he opens up the cover page. He reads the header, and then he reads the first paragraph. He looks at you. You look at him back, anxiously waiting for a response, and then after about 5 seconds of silence, you hear him say, What is this? What in the hell is this?
Oh shit.
That's what played in my mind. I just see him go, no.
It was kind of like that a little bit, because he already had an issue with where I put the like my name in the header.
Oh, okay, I was just joking about that part. Shit.
No, I was a fucked up student. Like, here's the thing, right? Like, this is something you should have learned. Like, this is something you should have learned in, like, high school. It's just like, I didn't go to a Canadian high school.
I went to a fucking maple syrup factory, bruh.
Exactly. Like, I'm sorry, but I can't fucking help you.
You should have been like, oh yeah, professor, do you know where to write your nutritional facts? Bitch. Where do you write your ingredients, cuz?
There you go. But yeah, and the thing is, like, after asking for help, right, like, my professors also, almost all of them basically told me, or like, oh, Shane, like, you should get involved with, like, some of the, like, other student groups around, right? Like, there is, like, the English, what was it, like, course union, I think? I don't even remember. It was the thing that me and, like, William got involved with.
Okay.
And the thing is, like, I was a year behind of everyone else, right? Because I had to switch my majors.
Hey, I was 2 years behind, so it's all good.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, I made friends with everyone who I was supposed to be graduating with.
Well, shit.
But I wasn't going to be graduating with them, right? And, like, to me, it's like, it wasn't really that big of a deal or whatever, right? They all asked me, like, oh, like, you know, do you want to join us on the English course union? I was just like, yeah, fuck, why not? So I took on that, and then other professors started seeing me, right, and seeing, like, you know, oh, like, you know, he's, like, an able-bodied student, right, like, you know, he's really, like, you know, out there, like, you know, kind of getting work done, and, you know, he's reliable, blah, blah, blah,
His
whatever.
pants are really
right?
tight.
Yeah, pants are really tight. Well, no, this wasn't the time when I started fixing myself.
Oh, his pants are a little bit too big. Looks like you fit both legs into one.
Well, more like this kid's got a bowl cut and his jeans are way too large for him.
Yo, you need to send me a photo of you in your Rock Lee, bro.
Nah. You go fuck yourself.
You have to. If you do so, I'll send you a photo of me in my dreadlocks. How about that? That sounds like a good exchange.
Fine, if I can find one. Because I'm pretty sure I deleted all of them. So you can go fuck yourself. Anyways. So, kind of just figured myself out, like, in third year.
I'm still trying to figure out what you look like with a bowl cut, cuz.
Oh, no.
How come you didn't get like a proper barber at Toronto, bro? You've been living here since 2 years. Why you still got a bowl cut?
Because I went to Chinatown for my haircut.
Oh, I thought you were about to say because I DIY'd that shit, cuz.
No.
You went up to Shoppers Drug Mart and bought a clipper and just buzzed everything off after you put a bowl in your head.
Oh, God. Took the largest bowl we had.
And then you tried out, like, you went to dollar stores and bought different helmets and see what those trims would look like.
Oh, dear Lord.
Just imagine if someone fucking did that. That's how they cut their hair the whole life. It's just buy different, like, headwear and see what that looks like.
No, that's fucked up.
That's fucking hilarious, dude. I have a cynical mind.
You got a fucked up mind. Anyways, but yeah, like, for me in third year, it was basically just figuring out, like, it's okay to ask for help.
Right.
It's okay to ask for different opportunities, because then I started asking, like, oh, like,
how's your sex life?
No. Do you need a research assistant? Do you need a marketing assistant? Do you need blah, blah, blah? Do you need help with this? Asking the professors, right? And, like 8 out of 10 times, they would say, like, yeah, I need some help. Like, are you willing to help me out? And I was like, fuck, yeah. Oh, man. So, yeah, you just have to ask is what I learned back in third year. And, like, once you ask, right, you get the right opportunities.
Okay.
You just have to put yourself out there. Like, the thing is, like, what kind of comes along with that lesson, right, is that you don't need to be scared.
Right.
People who need help will, you know, definitely take it. At least from the professors I saw.
And now, excuse me, professionalism.
Well, professionalism took me fourth year to get, like, to fully understand.
So what I wanted to talk about now is, like, obviously now you've graduated now and shit, right?
Graduation is later.
But as in, like, in terms of, like, your actual studies, you're done and everything with that, right?
I'm done. Yeah, I'm done.
Great. So you have been released.
Pretty much.
So throughout your tenure in university, what would you say overall have you learned about yourself, and what you and how you have matured and grown to be the person that you are today?
Fuck, that's a hard question.
As one of our friends called you, the faithful dude, bro. What was your journey to achieving that title?
Can you remind me who this friend is?
Fashion student, recently moved to a different.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay.
At least
How did it?
How did what? How did you get that title?
No. Well, sorry. You're gonna have to repeat the question again,
right?
Because
I
felt like there was a little bit much in it.
Too much, dude, bros. All right, so so once again, the question was, now that you have finished your studies and essentially you have completed your journey and tenure in post-secondary school, what would you say was my question? Because I kind of forgot. Oh, right. The question was, what did you learn the most about yourself? And how would you describe the journey that led you to become the person that you are today?
So there's two things that I learned about myself. One positive, one negative.
Sorry.
Really?
I don't know.
Really?
Are you? I'm joking. Because there's so much pause, I just started thinking that in my head. And I'm like,
seriously?
I was like, Kirby, don't.
Fucking 4-year-old.
I was like, Kirby, don't say it. Kirby, don't say it. Don't take it back to middle school. Fuck it. I'm in middle school.
You fucking said it.
I was like, fucking you are gay.
Anyways, you fucking idiot.
Hey, man. I'm not dumb.
Just imagining your face. The first thing that I sort of learned about myself, right, was that I worry way too much. This is the negative.
You worry too much?
Yes, I worry too much.
And you see that as a negative?
Yes, because I want to make everything perfect. I want to make, I want to make sure that people are happy with my work, my performances, stuff like that, right? And that I worry way too much, and I'm always way too nervous when it comes to actual meetings about my performance, that kind of shit. Hearing how did I do? It's just well, there was oh yeah, you're right, yeah, I could have done that better, that kind of thing, right? Didn't really have much of a spine, kind of thing. And what the good thing that I learned was, is that I am willing above and beyond, right, to make sure that things are done. No matter how much it might take or what it needs, I know that I can do it to, get there. And that's sort of what the Japan trip taught me as well. Because the thing is, I always knew that I wanted to go and study and do work in Japan, right? I just didn't know how the hell I was going to do it.
You fucking weeb. I'm just joking.
Don't think you should be calling me that. I think we know of a different person. But anyways.
Who would that be? Expose man.
You want to bleep this out?
Oh, wait, yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, the writer sits in back is totally a weeb.
Yeah, all right, there you go. Yeah.
Bruh,
anyways.
The funniest thing, that was very quick side tangent. The funniest thing this fool said was, and I'll do it in my voice because if I do it in his voice, it would take 5 days. Roses are red. Diamonds are blue. Wait, no, I fucked up already. Diamonds, the fuck?
Blue?
He said, roses are red and violets are blue. Sorry, I don't love you as much as I do Hatsune Miku.
Oh my god.
That was the funniest shit that he showed me.
Oh my god.
And I was like, I'm actually going to be a virgin. I'm joking. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Wow.
I did not say that. I did not.
All right. You did not hit her.
I did not hit nobody either. I don't know what the fuck you talking about.
Anyways.
Japan.
Yeah. And that's when I knew. Well, Japan, this is going to be the jump because, my education didn't really stop around 3rd year. My education continued into 4th year, technically into 5th year, and then master's, which was my 6th year, if you were counting.
So Shane's old.
Pretty much at this point. So 6th year basically taught me, I could do whatever I wanted, as long as I put my mind towards it and I'm willing to work hard. And I am. And I kind of figured that out, mostly as well with the cosplay group that I run as well.
Oh yeah? Could you be 90 pounds and fat at the same time?
I mean, if I really wanted to, probably.
I don't think that's physically possible though, because you need to be big boy certified, which means that you need to be at least 200 pounds.
Is this a challenge of some kind?
No, it's a really complex oxymoron. You can't be 90 pounds and 200 pounds at the same time. That's the joke. Because you said you could do anything you want if you put your mind to it.
Anyway.
Well, I'm here to tell you that it's not true. It's impossible.
Freaking idiot. But yeah, that's what all my schooling has basically taught me. That's what taught
It's
me.
been touch. Don't, bro. Stop
keep bleeping
saying
that
it,
out.
bro. The more you say it, I
Sorry.
gotta bleep this shit in post. I'm not trying to do that much, cuz.
Sorry, fine.
This
That's
and
what's... So you have to bleep it yourself out, you idiot. What school has taught me was...
Fucking say Hogwarts.
Right, what Hogwarts has taught me was, alright, a really good work ethic. I can do what I like, alright, as long as I'm willing to work hard and put my mind towards it. I don't need to be scared of asking for opportunities or, like, you know, going to different opportunities, etc., etc. And the journey up there has been fucking tumultuous. Like, it's so hard. It was really, really tough, like, for a few times. A few days, like, where I just didn't know what the fuck I'm doing. A few other days where it's like, this is just too much work. Why did I say yes to everything? Like, am I fucking stupid? Yes. But that's not the point
You
anymore.
said it, I didn't
we just
say
have
that.
work, so let's do it. I know. Do I need to do all this work? No. Do I need to get it done to look good? Absolutely. So let's keep doing it. That kind of thing. Should I be scared about this? No, but I still am, you know, that kind of thing. And these worries don't really change, like, later down in life. These don't really necessarily go away. And I think that's kind of a good thing, because it's almost like an alarm that's like, yeah, you care a lot. You're making sure that you're getting things done. So, yeah. That's at least what my school career has taught me, and, like, how far I've gotten with it.
So how would you summarize that into, like, a few sentences to sort of just bring that to a central theme or a central point in regards to what your tenure at university has taught you at Hogwarts?
Work hard.
Work hard, play hard, get paid, get laid.
I mean, you won't be getting laid, but yeah.
Speak for yourself. How you go to Hogwarts and not get your broom to Leviosa?
So fucking bad. That is so fucking bad.
I'll be honest, bro. I don't know shit about Harry Potter.
It's like you saw the first movie and then you just stopped.
Dude, that's actually not a joke. I think I've only seen the first one, skipped the second one, saw the third one, and that was it.
Wow.
Wasn't there one about, like, Harry Potter and the half-blooded crypt or some fucking princess of fucking shit?
Blooded crypt? Yes, there was a movie about the Half-Blood Crypt.
I heard that was shot in my neighborhood.
The Blords were there as well. Anyways.
Sorry.
If oh my gosh, you're such an idiot.
What have I done? I'm so sorry.
Are you though? Listen to yourself. Oh my gosh.
Alright, let's bring it back.
If I were to summarize, If I were to summarize that all down into, like, one cohesive, I don't know, idea or statement or something like that, right? Which is like, don't be scared of opportunity. Yeah. Don't be scared to ask for it. And work hard. Like, really, like, some people will, like, you know, cruise through their entire university life looking at you first years. Like, they'll cruise through their entire, like, university education as just like, oh, like, I'll just go to class, do the bare minimum and like, walk out with my degree or whatever, right? And like, in my opinion, like, you're doing it all wrong. Because you should try. Like, you should really try. There's really nothing wrong with just trying at school. The professors will love it. You'll get great marks, all right? You'll get opportunities. You'll be given things like from the university itself. You just really have to put the effort in. That's it. So yeah, don't be scared of opportunity and put the effort in. There you
go. So, because we are running low on time, I'm just going to quickly breeze through what my final years of university was like. So,
oh boy.
I left up at third year. Technically speaking, third year was dope for me because I was finally on the right track. Everything was going well until that strike happened. So then and like I said, with the reimbursement and how that worked, I was forced to come back for another year or lose that opportunity. So, for me, if I were to summarize like what I learned at university is, you don't need it. for certain things, you really don't need university. You can learn it on your own. And what I've learned, well, not necessarily from a university experiment, but more so like what it reinforces is the idea that the person that you should always rely on the most before anybody else is ultimately yourself. Because I was too compliant and too reliant on the faith of the school being able to help me out with problems that they created for me, both in terms of the strike and before the strike. And I could tell you, at least from my school, they didn't do shit for me. And I've always believed in loyalty over royalty, and I still believe in that until the day I die. But that needs to work both ways. So, I guess if I were to summarize what I've learned at my school is not to choose that one. So make sure that you do your research, both in terms of what career path you want to take and what is the most efficient way, not the most popular, the most efficient way to achieve that goal. I do believe that for certain things, much like what Shane has shared with us tonight or today or whenever you're listening to this, is definitely achievable by university. I'm not saying that post-secondary school is not the way, but for certain things, there are better ways. It's not about how many turns you take, how straight your course is. It's ultimately about getting to the destination and having fun while doing it. So if you get fed up with incompetence or fed up with, hey, who knows, maybe you're still getting bullied at university. If you're just fed up with the experience greatness instead, whether it's on your own, at a different faculty, or not faculty, at a different school, whatever it may be. So don't get pressured into making decisions that you will regret. For me, it was enrolling at that university, and choosing university over college. So don't get.
There's no shame in that.
Yo, real shit, college is better for filmmaking, bro. You just need to work hard for 2 years and you Gucci. I work hard for 4 years and I ain't get shit. Anyways, but yeah, like working hard is always going to be the most important thing that you should discover in your late teens and early 20s. And it doesn't really matter where you go to pursue your passions, because ultimately it's the end goal that matters, as long as you're doing it within legal means, of course.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
That's what I believe in terms of my misfortunes with university. You know, in regards to the mindset of approaching post-secondary, I have to agree with Shane 100%. You know, just work for it. You know, if you want it, then get it. How do you get it? You got to work for it. And it's okay if you fuck up at post-secondary. You know, I fucked up by choosing the wrong thing. So did Shane. It's really about discovery. You know, discovering more about yourself, discovering more about what you want to do, the people around you. You know, discovering shit about life, figuring out like who could you trust, who's a snake, and always use protection. Anyways, my name is Kirby Kwan Jr. and we were joined by both Shane and Karma. And hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Ghetto Fabulous. Hope you guys enjoyed this installment of the Ghetto Fabulous Podcast. Definitely the weirdest ending that we've ever had. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me, and that's gonna be it for Shane. So until next time, we out.